Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at an instrument by Ruckus Guitars. This is the RS Tribute. We're going to look at the broad strokes, talk about the specs, we'll listen to the guitar, and then we'll talk positives and negatives coming up. Hey, as always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when new videos come out. You can also go to jimmyparagalloguitar.com to sign up for the email list and get some free downloads. So I was contacted in early March by Jason from Ruckus Guitars out of North Carolina. And he asked if I'd be interested in looking at one of his instruments, test it out, maybe provide some feedback, and possibly make a review video about it. And I appreciated the fact that Jason reached out directly, and he wasn't in a rush just to send the guitar and have me post something online about it. That was nice. He was open to me trying the guitar on different projects, playing with it, recording with it, and then providing some feedback directly to him, even before posting a video. Here's a statement from Jason, gives us a little idea of what Ruckus Guitars' goal is with these instruments. He says, I love music and want to offer affordable guitars with solid bones that are worthy of swapping in upgraded parts. I am a designer at heart, and I want to develop guitars with a design character that stands out from the pack. Most affordable guitars are just clones of famous makes. My goal is to create designs that pay tribute to the classic guitar designs that we all know and love, offering some key refinements that improve playability and comfort while packaging them up in a guitar with a unique style. Based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's go over the specs on this guitar. The RS Tribute comes in a satin finish and weighs in at, this example weighs in 6 pounds, 12 ounces. We can start from the headstock and work our way down. We have an offset style headstock with the Ruckus brand name on the front. 3 per side tuners. These are your regular import style, inexpensive tuning machines. They work just fine once I did a little bit of setup on them. I'll tell you about that later in the video. You have your truss rod access. It's smooth action, very adjustable. I found that nice. And then on the guitar, it originally came with a string tree or a retainer bar, a metal bar that was right here past the nut. But I went ahead and took that off, and I feel like it looks a lot better without it, and it really wasn't necessary for any break angle behind the nut. The nut itself on this sample was a plastic nut. This was a temporary one that was sent on this prototype. I didn't mess around with it at all. I just did some adjustment to it, filed the slots down and things like that just to get the action nice at the first fret. But I did that as part of the setup on the guitar. The neck itself is a type of maple, C-shape with a satin finish on the back, makes for a comfortable feel. Let me show you the neck depth dimensions on this example. The depth of the first fret, 0.85 inches, 21.75 millimeters, and depth at the 12th fret, 0.92 inches, 23.16 millimeters. The fingerboard is a separate piece from the maple neck. It's matched well, but you can see that it is a separate piece of wood put on top. It actually has a pretty cool pattern that runs through it, so that's kind of a nice little feature to it. I don't know how often that comes up, but that's pretty nice. So this example is a 14 to 15 inch fingerboard radius, but Jason says that the production guitars are going to be spec'd at a 12 inch radius. It has 21 frets with black dot inlays. The heel starts at about the 15th fret, and then the neck joins the body at about the 17th fret. Just for reference, here are the fingerboard width dimensions. At the nut, you have 1.64 inches, 41.75 millimeter, 12th fret, 2.07 inches, 52.68 millimeters, and the end of the fingerboard, 2.23 inches, 56.7 millimeters. Now, Jason did mention to me that future models will come with a 43 millimeter nut, so these dimensions, of course, apply to this sample instrument, but it's just good reference. Focusing on the body now, we have a 3-piece mahogany body with that natural satin finish to it, which is a nice touch. Of course, the shape of the body and the lines really call to mind a familiar shape, but you can see some adjustments made to the design, especially in the cutaway area, which makes for a nice change. Here's a quick look at where the neck joins the body on the back. And then now you can take a look at the pickup cavity routes and the control routes. The hardware is a 6-saddle bridge with a classic style tremolo. 3 springs are installed in the back, and I made a little adjustment in the setup of the guitar, loosened up the action on the tremolo or the vibrato, whatever you want to call it, and really made for a better feel on the guitar, but that's of course part of the setup process. Let me give you the dimensions on the tremolo block itself, just for a good note. Thickness on the block, you have 0.25 inches, 6.45 millimeters. And the width of the trem block, including the arm mount portion, 2.83 inches or 72 millimeters. The electronics are an interesting combination in this guitar. You have a P90 in the bridge and 2 S-style single coils, one in the middle position and one in the neck position. Import quality pots underneath the black pickguard, and you have a 5-way switch, single volume, and a single tone control. Okay, with the specs covered, let's hear this guitar. Now, for all of the tone tests, we're going to run straight into a Fender Princeton reverb, through the Universal Audio aux box, and then into my audio interface. We'll start with some clean tones. We'll give 2 examples of each, and we'll also test out the tremolo unit, see how well it stays in tune. Now let me take you through a sweep of the controls, volume, and tone. Then we'll test the pickup settings with a little bit more gain from the amplifier. I would say I'm happy with the bare bones on this guitar. Of course, we're looking at a guitar probably in the $200 price range, and a couple nice features. The fretwork was on point for a guitar like this, and just for reference, I've seen $500-600 guitars with poor fretwork compared to what was on here. Things were nice and smooth, good fret ends. on this example. The body work was nice as well. The routing in the pickup and control cavity along with the tremolo cavity would, in my opinion, be considered above average. And as far as the shape and the design of the guitar goes, I think it's nice to have a familiar shape with some differences. So, of course, you have that classic style, but there's a unique aspect about it. And I feel like that lends itself to be a good modding platform because just the shape of the body itself and it being a little bit unique would make me want to, hey, swap the parts out and keep the guitar as it were. Now, in this example, there are some minor finish or wood issues, but again, this was an early-ish prototype, I guess we can say. There are going to be some changes to future guitars, but just as far as some issues, I'll just take you through a few of them that I found. Now, first issue, probably the biggest one, were the tuners. Not so much the machines themselves. We can work with import quality tuners. They'll hold their tune once set up nicely. The issue on this example was in manufacturing. The holes for the tuners were a bit too large for the machines themselves. So I had 3 tuners that were loose inside the headstock, and this was regardless of how tight the nut or the rear screw was holding them down. Now, I communicated that to Jason, and he's going to work with quality control on it to see if that can be rectified in manufacturing. On this example, though, there's a quick and easy fix to remedy that. If you're interested in that, I just outlined it in another video. When it's posted, you'll see it linked right here above. But that's a cheap and easy way to fix loose tuners, not just on a Ruckus, but on any guitar really that you come across. Second point would probably be the electronics. Now, are the electronics usable? Absolutely. Would you want to upgrade them? Would I want to upgrade them? I probably would. I think it's cool that you have the P90 in the bridge, and I would say that the bridge and the neck pickups are nice, but the middle maybe is a little bit weak. I feel like it lets it down just a little bit, especially in the 2 and 4 positions. But again, you have what you need to upgrade the guitar and make it your own, so I would say that this is probably a half negative in this point. Third point would be with the bridge hardware itself. Now, of course, this is expected on a guitar like this. The metal that the bridge is made of is not very good quality, and the mass of the bridge is not very much. So maybe that affects your sustain. One thing for sure is you will feel the diminished quality of the bridge when you go to set up the instrument. In other words, adjust your intonation and the action of the strings. Completely doable, but you can feel the quality of the screws and the hardware is not the best. Once you set it, will it stay that way? Absolutely. So once it's set, it'll stay, which is nice, but it'll be nice to see how the options pan out for upgrades on the bridge, because that would definitely be a portion to upgrade on this guitar. Now, the jury's out as far as aftermarket parts that will fit in here. I don't have one on me to throw in here. Jason's probably going to test that out as well. But for reference, let me show you the dimensions of the routing in this guitar, and maybe that'll help you decide and see what will or will not fit in this instrument. And then finally, just maybe not a negative, but just a be prepared item. If you were to mod this guitar and want to change the neck, just remember that it has a modified heel to it. So you'd have to make sure that you're comfortable drilling your own holes in a neck. Don't expect to just drop a Squire or a Fender neck in here and the screws line up. So again, not a negative, but more of a be prepared item to make sure that you remember. And again, just for reference, here are the dimensions on the neck heel and also the neck pocket. So what do you guys think of this guitar from the overview and from the tone tests? Let us know your opinions in the comment section down below. Personally, I think it's a cool platform to mod on top of, and I think Ruckus and Jason, of course, have kind of accomplished their goal. They have a pretty solid instrument that has the basis for something that you could personalize, and I think that's pretty cool. Another thing that's nice to be said is just from another standpoint, Jason is a great communicator, and he was very easy to work with in this process. And it's nice to find someone that's open to constructive feedback, and he's doing his best to try and communicate that with who he's working with to manufacture these guitars. So it's nice to find someone that's interested in taking a project all the way and kind of cares about the outcome. So that's nice to see. I think there's something to be said about that. So 2 thumbs up there for sure. Again, if you have any questions about these instruments, put them down in the comments section below. Thanks again for all of your support. Be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this, and we'll see you in the next one.